natural.
Okay, awesome.
There's gonna be no, and this is the first time, so it's just like we're just gonna. It's like a pilot episode.
Exactly. That's all good. That's all
So
good.
the stakes aren't that high, and I think just edit
Yeah,
stuff
and it's like, and the thing is, even if we need to even if we do this, and it feels like I just throw so much, and then we're like, use that and like, let's revisit this, but revisit it in this particular order or this particular
down.
do that, because it's like, as you just, all you need to do is get footage, because at the end of the day, as long as, even if you were to start, a whole podcast thing, and you have Instagram, and you need to put snippets of like up stuff, if you have a snippet of a specific like exchange that we have, that's
Yeah.
That's, you put that up, that's the type of stuff people just want to, that's the stuff that people want to see. So let's go for it.
100%. Connect. Okay, so how has this transition been for you, moving into your own space, getting that sorted and whatnot?
Oh man, it's still ongoing. I think it's like, you have to, there's certain things that have to be a certain way. I'm quite particular about the way I want my stuff to be. So before I can fully embrace this place as my nest, there are still a few things I need to do. So it's ongoing, and I'm giving myself space and grace that I'm not going to feel fully comfortable in my area. And I just need to wait until, it'll take maybe a month or two. I've been here for a month now, and it's still, stuff is everywhere, kind of, to some extent. It's like an organized mess.
Yeah,
yeah. And then once it's I think by month 2, that's when things will start falling into place the right way. So that's currently where I am. And obviously, that type of stuff affects your working patterns. Like, for example, I've had to basically leave the house. Like, I don't work here because I don't work at home at all. I try to do stuff, but I don't think I've actually done any sort of productive work for more than maybe sending a random email, because my environment isn't what I need it to be.
Oh,
so
really?
I go, that's just the way my brain works. So I either go to like a cafe or the library and join friends to work on an assignment and stuff like that. So that's basically how I work. But it's it's really interesting. It takes a while. I think this is one of the biggest difficulties when you're neurodivergent, and because life is about ebbs and flows, and it always gives you that. So one of the difficult things about being neurodivergent is acceptance and accommodation, and that personal acceptance. So accepting what you are, understanding what you are, accepting what you are, and understanding your inner workings. And once you understand your inner workings, then the accommodations you make for those inner workings.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like there's that whole level of like, there's a certain level of humility. Like, you're not, you're not. There are times when
control the whole world.
Hey, go ahead. Yeah, there are times when you're just not going to be it.
Do you have headphones?
I do. I can put those on. Do you need me to?
Yeah, because I think what's happening is, if you don't have headphones, when my voice plays through the speaker, it cuts out your mic, and then I can't hear what you're saying when I'm speaking. So it's like weird.
Okay, hold on. Let me
I can hear you. Oh, what type of speakers are those?
The what?
Those.
The ones that I have.
Yeah.
Oh wait, can you see speakers? Where?
No, headphones around your neck.
Oh, it's the sports ones, the ones that you just like you hang it, you put it in your ear. It's like the one that, and it goes around your neck. It has like a neck band. I really like them.
Okay, is that E-Blood?
It's a really good one. It's so convenient. Wait, let me just find how. Oh yeah, there it is.
is the longest connection I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
It's like you have to apply through post to get it to fucking connect.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've been able to hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Now.
Oh, but now I can hear myself.
Now I can hear you in my headphones. And okay, perfect.
Oh, good. Fantastic.
Okay, awesome. And they're not that visible.
Right.
To be honest, the hair is concealing it. But yeah, okay, let's do it. Okay, so so back to what I was saying about the accommodations you make for yourself. There's a certain level of humility where you have to accept the fact that you're not going to operate at your usual. There are times when you're just not going to operate at your usual self, depending on what it is, and accepting that and making accommodations for that. It's almost like contingency plans. Like, I'm very much aware that in this particular time, I'm not going to be the most effective. Like, there are invoices that I haven't sent for the past month. Yeah. Like, there are emails that I haven't replied to in like 2 weeks. There are things like that, and I haven't. And exactly, but I know that this is going to be a tricky time. So I can either speak to my supervisors and all that stuff and let them know that, look, I'm in the middle of a move. There are a lot of transitioning happening. So this is, if you have a good supervisor, or you have good people sort of like around you, they will make accommodations for that, whether they're friends, whether they're supervisors. And of course, segueing into what we were going to talk about, relationships, because this stuff also affects relationships. Because when you think about relationships, there's a certain level. What is a relationship, especially from the side of the man?
Okay.
Now,
let me ask you a question here, actually. So let's go back over the framework. It was acceptance. Was that the first one?
Acceptance. Obviously, this is not psychological. I just want to preface the fact that this is not psychological theory.
Fair enough, but I think it's actually quite useful for people. It's a good framing to understand. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because like
how my way of
through that framework again is like accepting something and then accommodation.
Okay, so there's the level of acceptance. So accepting. It goes through stages, especially, and obviously I'm speaking. Everything is contextual. Obviously, I'm speaking in the sense of. This is that you suspected, and you now know you suspected, you now know that you're neurodivergent. Whether you've done the formal diagnosis and people have told you, or whether you've self-diagnosed yourself, but you're absolutely sure. Yeah, there's a certain level of acceptance that needs to come in. Accepting the sort of like the change in your personality, the sort of like going away of the old you and the new identity that you now have. So
wow,
for some people it takes. Exactly.
I want to click on that first point. So, because I can imagine, like, for example, my little brother, he probably was the most extreme example of all of us. Like, he could have been feeling like, oh, I'm different and I don't know why. And then because he doesn't know why, you just push it away. And you're like, but you beat yourself up because you're like, I'm supposed to be acting the way everyone else acts, but that is uncomfortable for me. I want to act a different way, my way. And you're stuck with that tension. And then when you get the diagnosis, it's like, oh, wait, I should listen to the way my body wants to be because I'm just different, and that's okay. And that's the acceptance piece. Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. That's essentially what it is. That's that level of accepting that is happening, accepting that new identity, and then it can be tricky for a lot. I think there are a lot of instances where when people get diagnosed the first time, I've seen statistically where it's like there's almost like a de-skilling that happens, almost like a dip where all of a sudden their neurodivergent sort of like things, their neurodivergent symptoms or neurodivergent traits sort of like go off on a bit of a tangent or go
really.
Yeah, and it's all of a sudden it's like, for example, when I got my diagnosis,
what was your diagnosis, by the way?
So when I got my diagnosis, it was first of all, it was ADHD, but the inattentive type. So in the UK, there's no such thing as ADD, but that's essentially what it is, ADD. So there's no hyperactivity in me, apart from in my mind. So my mind is hyperactive. But I think when you have ADHD, there's a certain element of physical, like a physical manifestation of your hyperactivity, the inability to sit down, the excitability. And so, we all know that stereotypical ADHD kid that
Yeah.
bouncing off walls and things like that. Well, that's
Yeah.
not me. I'm inattentive. Like I'm in my own world. So it's like there's there's such a busy world happening for sure. There's such a busy world happening that in my head, such a like vibrant, bouncing off the wall type of life world that is happening in my head that most of the time I find myself in there and I'm outside and I'm not here. So that's essentially in a crude way, that's an illustration of what is going on for me. So that was my first
diagnosis. I didn't
diagnosis.
know the difference between inattentive and attentive. That's
And
the first time I heard that.
and hyperactive, so that's the thing, ADHD and an ADD. So, but it's all attention deficit. It's all attention deficit, but it just depends on what kind of deficit you're getting. Exactly, it's all attention deficit. And when they say attention, it's not attention is almost like a composite word. It's not attention in the sense of paying attention to something. It's executive function. It's a certain element of memory. It's a certain way that certain parts of your brain communicate with each other. I know that I'm speaking about it in a very deficient way because obviously I'm very biased. Like this is what I study. This is what I do. This is my profession. So inadvertently, there's as in like mental health and cognitive sort of like the state of an individual's cognition. And the medical field and the mental health field, they tend to pathologize anything. They pathologize everything. Like I personally think that in my opinion, I do think that, man, this is a bit of a discussion. This might be a segue that we might have to pin for another discussion. But
we can do that.
I personally believe that the ADHD, ADD, all that are just facets of evolution. And throughout history, human evolution is the reason why, let's say, for example, throughout human evolution, we've had sort of like spikes of discovery, and then that's what has gotten us to now where we have AI. We essentially can create things. I think it's all those discoveries were not made by like a group they were made with people that just thought outside the box. They were made 100%. That thought differently. They were made people. So I personally do believe that neurodivergence, which is neurological like divergence, is needed because that's what is literally neurological divergence is needed.
I would have done it like this.
Exactly. There or divergence in different direction because it's like neurodivergent people all go into different directions.
So it's
like they follow multiple branches, whether it's left, right, or up or down. So I think that it's needed because it's necessary. I'm thinking it's an evolutionary thing, but a lot of times, it's like the norm. If people that all work in one way or in unison and don't have any sort of divergences, they maintain society.
Yes,
that's what maintains society. That's what basically that's what allows a certain level of predictability. However, those that diverge, yes, they'll discover things, but also they don't conform to things in society. They don't conform to society norms all the time. Obviously, it's a generalization, but you kind of catch my drift, which is why I personally don't like to pathologize neurodivergence. Like whenever anyone tells me that they are, I think I definitely encourage them. But it's like it's very difficult to have these discussions because the language itself in nature pathologizes symptoms. Traits.
Even the word pathologize in my head, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how many people know what the fuck pathologizing even means?
Pathologizing is when you make something into either a condition, a disease, or a thing. You speak of it. Like, let's say, for example, diagnose. You make it into. It's like you're saying it. It's almost like in a way, in layman's term, it's almost a way of making it into a disease. Like, let's say, for example, every single time I stepped out of my house, I had to do a spin and then walk out. Who is it hurting? Can I just ask? Who is it hurting?
Anyone. It doesn't hurt anyone. No one. My little brother did 3 knocks on things for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah. People. What if I have to knock on a door 3 times? Like bam, bam, bam. And if I knock twice, I don't like it. I have to knock one more time. And if I knock only once, my day is ruined. Obviously, depending on how maladaptive it is. Like, let's say, for example, I knock, and because I didn't knock 3 times, I decide to stay at home and I don't go to work and I get fired. Obviously, that's maladaptive. It's understandable.
Yeah.
That's maladaptive. But at the end of the day, it's a difficulty. But I feel like there's such a bias to what's making everything maladaptive and stuff like that, that for people that are still managing to live as neurodivergent, they get that stereotype threat. They get the whole threat of, oh no, I'm not good at this. I'm not, because I'm like, there's so many times that I have doubted my ability to be what I am and to study what I do or to have the profession that I have just because I'm neurodivergent. But that's not, but it's not the case. Cause I mean, I do this. Like I'm within the things that I need to do, I'm great at what I do. So that's the thing. So that's this whole pathologizing it. So I'm very careful when I speak about these things, that I don't want to. I'm very mindful of the way I use language, but it's hard because the language itself that's given to us and how we understand it is very pathologizing anyway. So
100%.
So these are these little caveats that I want to put in here, especially when you have discussions like this. But anyway, back to the acceptance,
the framework.
And once you have acceptance, so that's the first step, the acceptance, and then there's the understanding of your inner workings. So the understanding of your inner workings. So, for example, I know that I can socialize. I can go out today. I can go out tomorrow. I can go out, but it's gonna hit me on the back end. Something is gonna happen. I'm going to be exhausted somewhere, and my social battery is gonna be low. And I know that my best way to go to sort of like socialize is socialize one day, be off the other one, socialize another day, be off another day. There might be a chance that I may be okay if I do it back to back. There's a chance, but however, I think the optimum thing in order to basically to ensure that there is no dip is for me essentially to basically socialize one day and then be off the other day and then socialize another day. That level of there's that. So that's an accommodation I need to think about. Like, for example, another accommodation. I like to there's so many accommodations. It's accommodation in the sense of even the group of friends that you have. Like, I have categorized my friends. Like, I know.
No, you're funny, man.
It's not in a bad way. Like, it's not like it makes the friendship fake or whatever. But there are you have your friends that you go and you play basketball with. They're so basketball crazy. All they want to do is play basketball. And then sometimes maybe go for like go and chill somewhere after basketball. Depending on what happens. And then there are the friends that just want to turn up. They just want to do things. They want to be outside. 100%. Every now and then, when your social battery is up, it's up. And then you have the friends that you meet them. It's always these heavy discussions about childhood trauma and stuff like that. But then those conversations are good, but sometimes it can trigger you because we all have trauma. And then you don't know, and then you carry that home, and then all of a sudden the next day you wake up and you just don't feel like getting out of bed, and you wonder why. But then because you've had those deep, disturbing, difficult, like woe is me, end of the world conversations. But sometimes those conversations are good because sometimes you need to go into a raw state in order to then sort of like get the necessary learning, or to even stretch your emotional capabilities or whatever. That's necessary. It's all necessary. So I've categorized my friends. So depending on how I'm feeling, I know exactly what kind of social interaction I need. So that's me understanding my inner working, understanding that, okay, at this moment, I'm not about to have no deep conversation about traumas. That'll take me out. Like even a discussion like this on podcast. Imagine that we're on and we're having this discussion and then we're going deep into childhood traumas or ways in which we feel like our childhood has put forth all these shortcomings in our lives. I would need to be prepared for this. I would need to have had days and days of just happiness before I come through. And then do you see what I'm saying? So that's the
There's
thing.
A lot of planning that it sounds like it goes into your life.
There you go. That's the thing. It's like, I do love spontaneity. I do. However, there's also planning that is necessary. There's a level of planning that is needed. Now, yeah, so and that's exactly it. So that's understanding of your inner workings. Now, the best I can do is give myself as an example, but there are many sort of ways in which this is. Like some people, accommodations and more. I've given obviously very cognitive, very mental things. There are some people that are like sensory. There's some people that they as soon as they get into a room that is way too bright, all of a sudden there's anxiety, there's anger, and then you get that emotional dysregulation because the lights are there are headaches, migraines, all that. An accommodation is to wear sunglasses even at night inside. I mean, I mean, you will look lame a little bit, but at the same time, that's just an accommodation that you need to make, right? So that's what I mean about understanding your inner workings, understanding auditory overstimulation. The fact that
that's a big one.
Hearing too much sounds when you go to a club, you're like, I don't have auditory. I don't think I have auditory. What's it called? Oh, thing, because I have fallen asleep at a party before.
Oh, wow, I'm impressed.
But that's the thing.
A little bit. I have it a little bit. I don't like. There's a couple things I don't like.
Loud bangs or
bangs. Absolutely not. That's not even. I can't even think anyone would like that.
I don't think. That's almost universal.
But I don't like multiple things playing at the same time. I need one thing at once. I don't like. It's gonna give me too much information. Like I like to focus on one thing only, and then just touch. Like my girlfriend, like we would go outside near like the sea, and there's flies, and I'm like all over me because I can feel every little fly. She's oblivious. She didn't even notice, and I'm like, and she triggered me because she goes, "Oh yeah, you have bug stress." I'm like, no, this is not bug stress. I'm not making this up. I'm being eaten alive. Crazy. And I show her literally the next day, I show her all of the bites on all of my arm and my legs. And she's like, oh, fair enough. Nah, you just getting bitten. I'm like, yeah, I was getting bitten, but I just felt it before you. So it's like, there's a lot of cases where people look at you because you're doing something a bit different. And you're like, oh, this is, I'm being weird. But it's like, no. I'm just different. And I feel different things. And I just behave differently than you would expect.
Yeah. No, man, that's absolutely true. That's exactly it. And I think it's that's literally it. Understanding of it. And I'm sure going out there on the beach, you might buy yourself that insect repellent thing and lather 100%. Yourself in it before you leave. 100%. That's an understanding. And then we segue into accommodation. That's an accommodation. People might be like, you're a little extra. Why are you lathering yourself like that? Like that peanut butter baby meme or whatever it is. Like just like lathering yourself in all that stuff. But that's because that these are the things that you need to do. And then of course. And then the third and sort of like final part of the framework is accommodation. And obviously all these things, they have multiple facets within them. There's the accommodation you make for yourself, and then there's that. And then based on the level of acceptance and based on the level of understanding, there's also the accommodations that you let your inner circle, outer circle, and outer circle have for you. So it's not always easy to help seek. It's not always easy to be vulnerable, to tell someone, look, this is what I need. Like it's a journey. As you can see, all these things, this entire framework sounds simple as hell, but it's not easy to do. Like the third one, especially the accommodations. Yes, you can make accommodations for yourself and then never leave the house, never engage with people. But there is a stage where you need help of your society, of your ecosystem. Like, what do you ask your, if let's say, for example, your sibling asks you, oh no, let's go out to this. Does your sibling know that you have an issue with this? Does your sibling know that this will trigger you or make you sort of like go back in your shell? Does your sibling know, or will the sibling make those accommodations like straight up? Will they, are they not gonna decide to basically go out in like a place of all you hear are just bangs and overlapping and all that stuff, and there potentially are flies, like I don't know, like like a meat
no.
market or something
Yeah,
like that. Are they
my
gonna?
friends tried to surprise me for my birthday for tickets to Wireless, because that's what people do in summer.
Yeah. Oh,
It was way too many people. I was so uncomfortable. I left early. I'm just like, there's too many things. There's too many people going on. Like, I feel like I have to be a policeman on guard the whole time.
yeah.
It's a whole thing. I'm not involved.
Check your pockets.
Like, I'm staying inside.
Yeah.
Don't give me all of these people around me. It's not fun. It is not fun.
Straight up. I think it's no, for sure. I think it's I think these accommodations and being comfortable.
I can see the ADHD live on this brother. This brother.
No, for sure. No, I have.
He stopped speaking. The second I start speaking, he's on his phone. The second.
No. I had to. Something went off, and I had to check it.
So the third accommodation that you need, guys, is do not disturb. That's what.
Yes. And there you go. Or do not disturb, or patience, but that's essentially it. Like a lot of times, like for example, the accommodations you make for yourself, the accommodations you speak to people about. So there's yourself, there's your world, your ecosystem, and then the ecosystem is difficult because you have to feel comfortable with asking for help. You have to feel comfortable with being vulnerable. You have to feel comfortable with doing that. And that essentially is the framework: acceptance, understanding, and then accommodations.
Fantastic. Okay, this is great. Yeah. So we're gonna take this framework, and we can go to like different situations,
different contexts
in relationships. So let's see how it holds. Like, so being black, I think we have to also a handsome black man autist. So people look at you and they don't think that you're autistic. It's the same thing with my brother, the same thing with me. People will not ever consider this at all.
No, I agree.
Not until you start talking about dark elves and whatnot.
Oh man, I knew that would come up. Oh man, nah, you got me. You got me. You said dark elves.
Guys, you don't understand. This is a 6'3" brother. He's wham. You would have thought a fucking black Michelangelo statue came in, and then he starts talking to you about black dark elves, and you're like, hold on a second.
Hey, no, I'm telling you, Skyrim is universal. Elder Scroll all the way.
Man, you see what I mean? Elder Scroll, come on.
But yeah, no. So yeah, it's we can take this framework into different sort of different contexts. And if we take it into relationships, I think this is interesting. I think there are certain things that we have to say. Is I have observed neurodivergent individuals, and I have a feeling that I don't know how I can explain it, but I have a belief that we gravitate towards each other. I guarantee you. And I think all that it is familiarity. All that it is familiarity. It's not a thing where we magically just like come together. What's it called? We come together and it's like, it's for some reason, it's simply familiarity. It's simply the fact that you recognize a thinking pattern that is similar to yours. It's not necessarily yours exactly, but it's similar to yours. Disorganized like yours, or organized like yours. Like you notice that, and it's a familiarity. It's the reason why they say, if inadvertently we tend to look for our caregivers in our partners. It just happens. It's just familiarity. And when I say caregivers, sometimes you seek your parental figures, or sometimes you even seek your siblings, because in your partners, this is literally what happens. It's not because it's not. And we're not saying it in a sort of like freaky type of way. It's literally simply just familiarity. We are creatures of habit. And that's what happens. So if you just so happen to see someone that has like a thinking process that is similar to you, you'll be like, oh, this is familiar. I recognize this. I understand this person. And then when you start interacting with these people, it's like you guys have known each other for the longest, but that's because it's like, oh, you do that too? You understand that too? Oh my God, we must be soulmates. Nah, you just, I mean, yeah, you could be. Like, let me not be a cynic. I'm not. I think you can gather that I'm not the most hopeless romantic out there. I'm not saying that you're like soulmates. It's just that you have an understanding.
Yeah, I think you're correct, because if you think about what charming people do, charming people, they build like this rapport, this level of trust. You feel like this person thinks the same way as you, and that's why some people are really good at selling, for example. So I think you're right in general. Even if you take out the family stuff, it's like true. You want to be around people that you resonate with,
Exactly. So I think that's the thing. That's the thing that sort of like brings it all together. So I do think that there's a level of there's a gravitational field around the neurodivergent that if you just so happen to come into their orbit, those fields will come together. Now, obviously, there are higher levels of compatibility amongst those. Like if you're both the type of neurodivergents that are like, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, you're going out of sight, out of your mind, out of a relationship. As in, like, let's say, for example, you like, sometimes there's that whole object permanence or person permanence, where it's like, if you're not in my presence, I forget you. And it's not that I don't value your existence. It's just that it's just that, I'm preoccupied. I'm in my mind. I'm preoccupied. Now imagine those two people are like that. Then they just after a while, and it's not, it's not no one's fault. It's just that. So it's almost like there has to be an out of sight, out of mind, and there has to be a preoccupied. And then that just literally, and it sounds horrible, but that's just like I feel like this whole thing of like oh, what's toxic, what's this, what's that, what's a toxic relationship, what's a no, that it's like I think the way we need to look at relationship is almost the same way we need to look at nature in its like mother nature in the wild. Herbivores have wide flattened teeth to grind grass and incisives to cut grass and to then chew it, same as omnivores. Carnivores have canine teeth. And yes, sometimes herbivores are eating grass and then they get attacked by a carnivore, and it's a gruesome scene. Like, it's gruesome. Would you call that toxic? Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think the system is systeming, it's like I'm just making an observation about the state of the system in this moment. Now this is where obviously what I'm gonna say is gonna this is cancelable. I can't wait to hear this. I think it's gonna be what I'm gonna say is cancelable. I personally think that in the same sort of way, someone that has if you're and this is obviously if you're neurodivergent. I'm not going to talk about people that have avoidant attachment styles. They're neurotypical, but because of the way they're raised, they have avoidant attachment styles, and others have preoccupied attachment styles. Those people tend to chase each other, like those fish and the thing that swims right next to it. Those people chase each other. But you have that in neurodivergent thing too. In neurodivergence too, there's certain neurodivergents that fit with others more. And I think even though that might stem from an attachment that is very much based on the type of neurodivergence, if you both have awareness and you have that understanding and everything is consensual, where is the problem? Like, that's the thing. I think at the very core of it, the whole thing of toxicity and feeling in a relationship and feeling like, oh, something's hard done by, it all stems from miscommunication. If there's communication, if there's communication and there's understanding and people are in agreement, there's no such thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Obviously, yes, some people are more vulnerable based on how they grew up and stuff like that. And then obviously, there's like I'm saying, it's not as black and white as I'm saying now. There are situations like that, but as a whole, But
I was gonna say on average, was just gonna say, I get what you're saying. On average, like for 70% of the population, this is probably gonna be true. What you're saying, it's like it's only on the far extremes do we have things that we're like, okay, maybe that's a bit too extreme.
Exactly.
You know, that very powerful man is exploiting this very, very vulnerable underage girl. That is when almost everyone universally also is like, this is wrong.
Exactly. There's that.
But if it's just like, oh, I'm a bit different, you know, or I don't like the inside or outside, and you know, you like the inside, I don't like the outside. We match a little bit, fair enough. Like we both consent. It's not a crazy thing, and we're not exploiting each other from some deep place. It's like, oh, this is just our natural tendencies. I like vanilla. Oh, this is great. There's an ice lolly from Trader Joe's. It's a fantastic ice lolly, the best ice lolly you will ever have in your life. It has 2 flavors that are fantastic, and one in the middle that's lemon. Obviously, lemon's garbage in ice.
Yeah.
Say me and my girlfriend go together because she likes the lemon part and does not like the other 2 parts. But I like the other 2 parts, which means I can eat one ice lolly, and I can have all the parts I like, and she has all the parts that she likes. It's balanced. We're a bit different, but it works perfectly.
Yeah. Low-key, it does. No, exactly. I think, so there's that element. So then, but then once you're in the relationship, I think, as a neurodivergent, depending, like you're either with a fellow neurodivergent in a relationship, or
that's the easiest so far.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say
easy. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, straight up. Because
it's the easiest. This is the first time this has happened to me. All the other girls I did, they were not neurodivergent. I didn't know why they didn't work. Now I understand. I need another neurodivergent.
There you go. And the thing is, sometimes when you're with a neurotypical, you just know that you got some explaining to do, and a lot of explaining. A lot, and just know that you will be misunderstood. You will be misunderstood hard, and I think this is what it's super tricky. This is where that framework comes in of the acceptance, understanding, and then accommodation. I look though in a relationship, that's when, because you're in such close proximity, and especially if you're in a heteronormative relationship and that subscribe to things like gender norms and things like that. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm a heterosexual man, so obviously I and as much as I try not to subscribe to gender norms, there are ways in which I am biased towards them naturally. You check yourself for it, but you still, so in a situation like that, you find yourself like, you really need to know your stuff, because a lot is expected of you. Even things like, if you're with a neurotypical, consistency is expected of you. But we all know that consistency for a neurodivergent it's not always the easiest thing to do. So a lot of times, like I'm pretty sure, like I think we've had this discussion before, like how many men are running around in these streets, neurodivergent as hell, unbeknownst to them, and get labeled as like assholes, toxic, essentially. Yeah,
asshole. Toxic. Oh, you didn't reply. Yeah.
You didn't reply. It took you a day, 2 days to reply. He must not like you. Like it takes me 2 business days to reply to anything.
Yeah.
That's, like it's not a testament to how I feel towards you. If anything, you should be worried if I reply to you immediately. It means I'm either scared or there's like a. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's so like, funny. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
If I reply to you in 2 business days, something's up. Whether it's a good thing, chances are it's not a good thing. Chances are, I don't know. Chances are it's not a good thing. So that's the whole thing. So this is what I'm saying about there's a certain level, and you need to understand yourself in order to be able to communicate that to the person.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to ask for your accommodations. You need to also accept that about yourself.
Yeah, these are all hard things to do in the moment.
Man.
You gave me a good example once with the like going to stores. I think this is a good example to give people.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
We have to explain a lot of these examples to like people for them to like get it, I think. Yeah.
Let's go into that. No, for sure. We I think when you earlier on you were talking about how being black and neurodivergent. So I think there's one thing that I mean, as Black folks, let's just say it. Let's just say it is what it is.
Mhm.
Being Black is being exposed to various traumas, not just traumas of your own life, but traumas that society will bring upon you. Traumas that were brought upon your grandparents, your great-grandparents, traumas that were
100%.
brought upon your parents, traumas that will be brought upon you, traumas that will be brought upon your future offsprings. You are dealing with traumas that are coming at you, directly at you, traumas that are coming from your parents at you, from your grandparents to your parents that then come at you. It's
crazy.
So it's traumas all over. We run around this world collecting traumas, which is why black joy, Black liberation, Black are such radical movements. For me, just to walk on the streets and like imagine me skipping on the streets. That's a form of resistance.
Wow, I'd be like, yo, he's skipping.
But that's a form of resistance. That's a form of resistance to everything that is being thrown at me. Imagine me just like going into the park and like there's this movement that I love on social media of just Black men frolicking. That's like skipping through fields and like
so funny. Yeah,
and just like rolling down through daisies and stuff and being
funny.
living in whimsy. And I'm like, take away the whole thing of people labeling it as soft or whatever it is. That's joy. Like that's just leaving yourself to abandon, just being happy because the world puts so much on you. And that's an understanding that has to be done. Now imagine with that existing already, put on the overlay of neurodivergence on top of that. That makes a situation that is like crazy. That makes a situation that's crazy. So when I say neurodivergence in the Black community, like
different ball game.
It's
I wanna make that a bit more concrete for people. This is like, so think about if you were just a normal Black kid in school, you're already more likely to get in trouble. You're more likely to get penalized by your teachers. You're more likely to, in America, get held back. More likely to end up getting in trouble. And then, or in my little brother's case, he went to a pupils referral unit. That's just like, we don't want normal school for you anymore because you're a liability. You have to go with all the other quote unquote bad kids. You know, you can easily, and we didn't know he was neurodivergent, but because there's a whole pipeline of this happening, well, like, I guess this is what happens to the kids, you know, they end up going to this bad school and around these bad kids. And what's natural is a lot of them end up in prison. And it's a whole thing. But
I worked in the
Black
PRU
and neurodivergent. It's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Add that. No. Just so when you mentioned PRU unit, it remembers that I volunteered in one for like 4 years.
Oh wow.
And I'd go there. I'd have sessions with some of the kids there. Like when I was working as when I was volunteering as a play-centered child therapist. But it's wild over there. But that example you said about going into stores. Now there's this thing with autism, and I forgot to mention that after my ADD diagnosis in 2023 or 2024, I don't remember exactly when, but 2023 I think or 4. I went for my autism diagnosis, and I was also diagnosed with that. So I have ADD and autism, so essentially ODD.
Wow.
So it's like those both at the same time. So, but I already suspect a part of me feels like what I have is basically just autism, and it just because autism is a more enveloping one, and it just happens to have traits that coincide with ADD.
Yes.
But it's the same thing. Like, let's say, for example, the first diagnosis I ever got in my life was depression and anxiety. But those are
symptoms of autism,
what I
ADHD,
have. Exactly. But that's the thing to it. I'm not shitting on the system, but they were just untrained eyes that looked at me. Looked at me and just said depression and anxiety. That's it.
Oh, you did you are African American Black? Yeah. He's ready for jail. He's just depression.
Exactly. just depression and anxiety. That was it. Whereas I finally it was based on knowledge that I had known myself, based on my own studies, based on my own obviously being in this industry that made it that I even went for autism diagnosis. I 100%. Went for it and I got it straight up. The guy was like, straight away. I was opposite two people. Two people gave the exact same diagnosis. They were like, yeah, everything that you said straight up, it is what it is. And I was like, okay, well, then I mean, I knew it, but thank you for giving it to me like on a paper.
Wait, so how old are you at this point?
I was 30 for the ADD.
Yeah,
I think I was 33.
Wow.
I was 33 for the ADD, and I think for the autism I was 34. So
guys,
now think about that. I've gone through, and I've
so
been
much of life. You didn't like really like
so much stuff I
didn't
access. Now so much stuff I didn't access. Now understand, I've been in academia for so long. Like I did a diploma at Birkbeck. I did an undergrad at Bristol. Then I did a master's at Bristol. And I did a master's at UCL. And now I'm doing my doctorate and it's all in psychology. So I'm now doing my doctorate in clinical psychology. So I've been going through, and academia is tough for like if you're neurodivergent, it's tough. So I've been going through all of that, just like suffering, knocking my kneecap and bumping against things and just persevering and going. And I just knew that something was up, and I've known it for a long time. I just never went through the process.
And so I want to point out to people, like, Yannick is like one of the best case examples, essentially. Like, and it's probably been very tough for him to get to this point. And I think people need to like, I need to make them feel like the mental discomfort that you go under on a day-to-day. Like I don't go through it as bad as my little brother. I think my little brother is closer to you in that sense. But like, you have to understand, imagine being a child, like 8, 9. You have all of these crazy feelings. You're sensitive to this, sensitive to that, and you can't sit still. You can't focus. You're fighting other kids because you don't know how to control your emotions. And you have to somehow, as an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old, try and control that so that you can continue to be good in school. As a really, really, really hard thing to do. Like really hard. And people aren't even helping you. They're looking at you and just being like, "Oh no, you don't have it."
There's just an unfortunate thing with when you're big and you're black. That I'm so it's just an unfortunate thing when it comes to when you need help. It's an unfortunate thing when you're big and you're black. People don't give you as much grace because they expect resilience from you at a level that you might not be even ready to give. 100%. But yeah, it's but that's essentially it. So
whoa, actually, let's paint that picture of like, so for you, I really want people to understand it, because I think like when it comes to like neurodivergences, and I think it's also same for people with understanding LGBTQ or anything that's just not normal, people really have difficulty empathizing like with the others. And I did it. I think I started to empathize with the trends. I'll tell you how I did this one. My girlfriend was telling me about how she feels on her period. She was telling me how, like, when you give birth, all of this happens and how painful it is. And I was like, thank God that I'm a man. There's no, like, I do not want to be a woman. I don't want to go through that. I don't want a period. I don't want to feel childbirth. I do not want to feel that. I'm a billion % certain. But like, so for me, if you put me in a female body, if I happen to be born in a female body and I felt the way I do about being a female, like I don't want to do it the way I feel now, I would be trans because I do not want to be a female. I do not want to give birth. I do not want to have a baby. I'm gonna be a fucking trans. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get. Like, no. It's a. Look, it's this type of logic that needs to be spread out so that people can begin the journey of empathizing with that. No, for sure. No, it's you need that just for that level of empathy to sort of like sprout. But no, for 400% sure.
I've heard from people who are trans, so I understand their stories and I found a way to relate it to myself. Like I did it the other way around. So I think for autism, we should try and do the same to explain to people, like, growing up, like this was a discomfort. Like you knew this from a young age. Like you felt like, oh, I'm different from these kids. Like, what was that like? How do you handle that as a younger person?
Yeah, I think, man, my life was just my existence was very lonely. I think I was in my head a lot, and I think I was in my head a lot, and and to some extent still now, it's like and the thing is, you're lonely surrounded by people. Like I'm not even gonna sit here in front like I don't have an amazing ecosystem. I have a great ecosystem.
Fantastic.
But there's always going to be a thin glass between myself and my ecosystem. I don't think anyone will truly I don't think anyone will truly ever know me. Like you, in the sense that you can live with me and you can see my patterns of behavior and you can see my but at the same time, I'm not saying anything riveting. I don't think anyone ever truly knows anyone. So so it is kind of what it is. Like it's like it's Captain stating the obvious over here. Like this is exactly this is exactly what it is. Like so I don't think anyone, but I basically feel like there's always a thin glass, or like there's a glass every now and then, depending on the context. It's very thin, then it can get thicker, and it's always there. And I felt like that as a kid. I felt like in order to engage with people, I had to put on different roles. I had to put on different outfits. And that's since I was like 16, I've been using this analogy. Like my older brother, my brothers are neurodivergent, but they're all different types. I believe my older brother is ADHD, so he's definitely more hyperactive. And because he is hyperactive and like, he makes noise and he's loud and he does things, people confuse that as being social. But in reality, he says crazy things. And people are like, oh, no, that's Arnold. That's just Arnold. Arnold is crazy.
Okay,
yeah. This guy will come up with the wildest things, but people just let it slide because he's charming and he's loud and he's cool, he's tall, and that's what happens. But in reality, this dude is. But anyway, so that's the thing. So, and I would always say as a kid that I'm putting on the Arnold outfit. So there were times, there are moments in my life where I'm in my bag socially. Oh man, and I love those because I literally feel like I'm surfing. Like, when you're surfing and then you catch a wave and you're on top of it and you're literally gliding towards the beach. Like, I feel like I'm in my social bag. You'll see me, I'm smiling. I'm not showing unnecessary teeth. I'm smirking. I'm being charming. I'm being charming. People are like, oh no, Yannick is real cool. Like, oh no, he's not. No, I'm not being called reserved or shy. I'm like in my bag. I'm like floating through the crowd. I'm feeling myself, and I'm sometimes, and it happens sometimes. But then that's the above average side of thing. That's not my average. That's not my norm in any way, shape, or form. And I call that channeling Arnold, or putting on the Arnold coat. Because it's a persona that I have to put on, because that's not me. That's not my default.
You are performing Arnold.
Exactly. I'm performing. I feel like a lot of my life has been learning how to perform personality traits. Not perform, because my life has always been my life. Like I am exactly what I am. All my history is my history, but
it's like code switching.
Exactly. The way I perform my personality or perform my history is different. Sometimes I'm calm. My default is calm, sad, unless I get excited and I'm talking about dark elves. Then you'll see I'll get excited. If it's a topic of interest, you'll see me come to life. But if I'm just talking normal stuff, I'm calm. I'm solemn. My voice is monotonous. My voice is deep and just monotonous, like a thing. But however, sometimes I have to go socialize. I have to network, and you see, like, and I'm, oh really? Oh wow! Like, and there's an inflection in my vibe. But in reality, you know what? In reality.
Oh, that nigga performing.
In reality, I don't give a rat.
Yo, that's so funny.
But no, but that's just like, I'm gonna get canceled hard.
No, but let's. I think we can humanize this, because think about every single man who has ever made the joke about his wife telling them about their work, and the man saying he don't listen, he don't know who the people are, he don't know they just perform husband duties and are like, oh yeah,
oh, for sure, yeah.
So I think it's like a thing that everyone does. Like
everyone understand. We understand it.
Then when people go to work, they're performing. You know, when people are smoozing in a networking scenario, or someone's a manager and they're kissing their ass, that's all performance.
They're performing, yeah.
But you're just performing. We have to perform in ways that like most normal people probably don't, or it isn't as taxing.
Exactly.
For them.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that's you hit the nail on the dot. That's exactly what it is. And yeah, so I've always been like that. So to some extent, my childhood has been that. Although there was a point where in COVID I was not COVID, pre-COVID, I kind of went through I went through a major breakup. It was like and when I say major breakup, it wasn't major in a sense of like, life destroying. It was major because it was a very long relationship. It was like 10 years. And yeah, I needed to reinvent myself, essentially, to not reinvent myself, but I needed to sort of like come back and find who I was and develop, essentially, because I think that relationship that I was in was at a time when there were also a lot of things happening in my life. Not only was I don't think I was even at the beginning of the journey of discovering my neurodivergence. I think there was a life situation that I was just going through, and there wasn't basically room for expansion of my mind or development or growth, which was even further sort of like essentially, which was further sort of like impacted by my undiscovered neurodivergence. Like I think in that relationship, when I look back at it, I think about so many instances where if I so happen to have had the understanding of myself that I do now, or the or even just the suspicion that I was neurodivergent, things would have been different. Not in the sense of we would have, it would have still been in a relationship. I think at the very core of it, it wasn't meant to be a relationship. It was meant to be a very good friendship. But I think at that time there would have been many hurts that would not have occurred on both sides. So this is why I say that it's very important to have that framework down. And that framework is almost a cycle. It's not, you don't just do it and then that's it. You you go back because the annoying thing about neurodivergent is it grows with you. As you get older, as you get older, you become more or less, or you become different. Your type of neurodivergence, it changes because your hormonal pattern changes. Like in your brain, your chemical, like what releases, like how the brain shrinks, right? So the brain shrinks as you get older. So as your brain is shrinking, surely the circuits and all the neurodivergent will also be affected. So it changes. You're not just neurodivergent one way and then that's it for your whole life. No, it grows, and that's why I say it grows old with you. So it morphs with you, essentially.
And another thing I would say is the more you go through the cycle and become more aware, actually more you grow, and that exposes you to new environments, which means now you have to be aware in a different way, and that's a challenge.
Exactly.
And then you have to figure out how to make the accommodations in this new environment. Then you go again, and that now you're in the C-suite level, and now it's like, oh, that's a whole new host of problems. How do I accommodate for those? So it's a whole thing. You're right. It does grow with you and stay with you. I never thought about it.
It really does. No, it really does. So it's like, so you find yourself in this position where you So I think as a whole, I think as a whole, when it comes to relationships, I would say let's just go back to relationships and being black. I think, as I said, we have that understanding of being black is one thing comes with stuff. And now another thing, it's like, because we can't deny the importance of social learning and growing up and culture and all that and how it affects us. It really dictates so much about us. If you're Black and you just happen to be in a relationship with a Black person, you have to understand one thing. Being Black and dating is like dating Black is beautiful because there is an understanding. There are short circuits. There are short circuits in the sense of you don't have to explain certain things. However, because everything has it's a yin and yang. Everything has a good and a bad.
Yeah.
Being Black, dating Black is also dating trauma.
Yes.
So dating Black is also dating the trauma of that person's ancestors brought on them, parents brought on them, and their life brought on them. So that there's that understanding. And I'm not saying that people, we all don't just walk through life, go again trauma. They're going to be very traumatized white people or traumatized Asian people.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just saying there's a specific type of trauma, and there are some groups that experience it a lot more than others. 100%. So that's the other understanding. So it also, when you're neurodivergent and Black, dating, it's a very different experience dating interracially, but also dating Black. All come with positives, all comes with negatives.
Yeah, I'm curious. So about the dating Black. So actually, I think let me talk about one thing you said that, like, when you date a Black person, it just makes it easier because it takes out one layer of potential miscommunication, basically. So then all that's left to negotiate is all the neurodivergent stuff, all the
other stuff, which is
so
that to what extent is this,
Whereas if you date interracial, that's a whole nother.
You have to explain you, and then you have to explain other things like you. But the thing is, dating Black. Unfortunately, one thing that comes with dating Black is there's a certain level of acceptance of mental health conditions that is lacking in our community. So I think there's an added layer of you have to be with a certain type that has accepted the existence of those things. Because if you tell them, "Oh, I'm neurodivergent," oh, what's that? Or like, you so that there's a bit of there's a barrier there. So yes, you don't have those misunderstandings, but they will for sure misunderstand.
Yeah, because actually, think about the Black community. There's way more stigmas against mental health. Like I can't to this day, I tell my mom to try to go to therapy, and she's like, "Me therapy? I would never. You guys are just wasting your money. Why are you telling somebody your secret?" Da, 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 da. And I'm like,
whoa.
And that you have to go up against that against your own people, you know.
Exactly.
Can be very difficult.
No. There's so much. There's that too. There's the whole So it's like you may not, depending on who you date, they may not give you grace. They may see your shortcomings as making significant signified that you're a lesser person. You see what I'm saying? And you'll start seeing that in the way they speak to you, the way they you'll start picking up on that. So it's like it's not sweet sailing or home sailing, just dating Black. That's the thing. But then it's I think you just have to find your person. And that's literally all it is. Like there was a time in my life where I had a strong stance, but now I think as I get older and I realize how lonely, how desolate, how difficult life is, find your person. And if you can find your person, if your person is an Xbox controller, let it be. If your person is whatever your person is, find your thing. Find your thing that brings you joy and that values you and value them. And do the work in order to think. Obviously, people, you have preferences. There are things that you may have political choices you make for who you date politically or whatever it is. That's all. That's whoever's problem. My thing is just find your person. Now, I'll give you an example of like an interaction between Blackness, neurodivergence, and misunderstanding in a relationship. Nice. So there was an example of this is as a neurodivergent individual, I know that this is going to sound crazy, but I don't like being seen. I don't like being perceived. And when I mean perceived is, I don't like the idea of me walking and people noticing that I'm walking and paying attention to what I'm doing. I like moving through the world like a ninja and just like not no. I like navigating the world and people not watching me.
Yeah.
However, the spaces that I find myself in, there aren't a lot of me's. And if there are any me's, and when I say me's, I mean black people. If there are black people like me, if there is a black person, because obviously within black there are
A bunch
there
of
are
different,
groups.
black is just a social construct.
Like we're not exactly. We're not a monolith. They're different.
Yeah.
The me's, now we're not out there. As in, so, and then also it just so happens that, like I said, I'm 6'3" and I've got dreadlocks, and I just happen to I look like I go to the gym a little bit. So
no, guys, not just a little bit. He's underplaying this. This brother looks like he eats the gym for breakfast. That's how big and strong he is. Okay, continue.
So that's essentially it. So then I'm going to be perceived. So let's say, for example, I remember when I was dating a person I was with a person from a global majority. So they were also ethnic, but they were just not black. Now they would go into the shop, and obviously they would want me to go with them. They were like, oh, like, why don't you come with me into the shop? Let's walk. But the thing is, not only do I not being perceived, but I have a weird relationship with shops where when I go into a shop, automatically, I didn't even ask for it, I get a personal shopper. So I get a personal shopper. And we all know what I mean by a personal shopper. I have someone that walks with me. They are with me. They walk through the shop with me. They make sure that, my bags are my bags, and they make sure that I'm having a good time, a wholesome time. So so they make sure they do that. So, and it happens whether I'm in a store for clothes or whether I'm in the corner store, wherever I go.
You're talking about security guards for the white people
exactly. In the back. Yeah. No, I'm not that. I'm not rich like that where I'd have personal shoppers. I hope y'all get it. But anyway, so it's I will then I'd walk in and they would perceive me. And now, being someone that just doesn't like being perceived, I don't like that. But then add the other layer of, I know why you're perceiving me. You are essentially, you taking time to walk with me is you telling me straight up that you think I'm a thief and you think I'm up to no good, which hurts my feelings. I can act like it's cool. Like I'm done with that. Oh, you just don't let it affect you. How?
No, it affects you.
How?
It affects you.
Someone tell me effectively how. That's some bullshit. I hate that. When I hear people tell me like, oh, just don't let it affect you, it really annoys me. It really bugs me. Like, I'm neurodivergent. I think a lot. I think too much. I can't just not let it affect me. You must be out your damn mind. It affects me. 100%. So then I find myself in this position where I'm like, yeah. So it's like, so then what I do is when she used to go into, I'll stand outside. It's better because people walk by and like see this black dude there, think I'm selling stuff, but it's fine. They will pass. At least they're not following me. But then it became such a matter of conflict. It became a whole thing of, you're not proud to be with me. You don't like being around me. But I didn't have the words to explain. All I could do is explain. I was able to, because I did know about race theory and stuff like that. Race good. I explained that, but I couldn't further it because, and then I'd get the whole thing of, but just don't let it bother you. You know that you're not there to steal. But I couldn't explain the further layer of the fact that I don't like being perceived, so it hurts me.
Exactly. Extra. Yeah.
And that was it. So I just didn't have those words. So then there you go. I didn't have the acceptance. I didn't have the understanding for damn sure. And I couldn't make the accommodation in that situation.
I'll say you made the accommodation by standing outside. It's just dealing with the ramifications.
Exactly.
of the
it was what you,
accommodation.
there you go. No,
Yeah.
you're 100% right. I made an accommodation, but it was an accommodation that wasn't conducive to the ecosystem.
Yes.
As a whole, do you see what I'm saying? But there are many accommodations one can make. Like I said, if you make accommodations for yourself, you could build this house and never need to go out at all. Never see your parents, never see your siblings, never see anyone. But that's a maladaptive accommodation.
Yeah.
So how do you accommodate while still existing and still, because even though we like our own, I love my own company, goddamn, but I do need some sort of social stimulation. I do need some sort of social stimulation every now and then. I definitely do. So I can't ignore that. So so that's an example. You're 100% right. That was a maladaptive accommodation.
I think it was. I don't think it's maladaptive. I think is this. I think you made the good accommodation for yourself, because, and that's going to make you feel more comfortable. Fantastic. And then I think the girl was surprised. The girlfriend at the time was surprised because she's never. That's out of distribution. She's never seen that before. She's used to dating normal people, so she has no choice to go. Okay, it's either he's not like everyone else I've ever met. Like 1 in a million, or there's something wrong with me. And if it's a girl, they're gonna tell it's something wrong with me. I'm not.
It's gonna start with that. It's gonna start with that.
You know, and it's like, so you now are put in a situation where you need to be an excellent communicator, because you have to try and communicate about a whole different world, bro. You might as well be talking about comic books to this person, because you have to try and explain this. You have to understand race dynamics. You have to understand. Then connect that to you as an individual and why that gets amplified. That's a lot of explanation to have to do to get someone to see why it's not about them and why it's like, hey, this is just me and how I choose to exist in the world. And I think I didn't have good enough communications or even understanding until like much like now, basically. Like to be able to handle situations like that. Like that is really hard to handle it and do, and it also takes someone who's willing to accept that there is another way to exist in this world.
I was literally gonna say that,
and that's why we like neurodivergent girls more, because they already have a bit of understanding that there is a different way to live life, you know, and they're just more accepting and welcoming, and it sort of works. So I don't think you did anything maladapted. I think it's just the world, you know, causes people to think a certain way. You surprise, and when you surprise anyone, they don't like it. It's the same as the bank. If you surprise anyone, they're not gonna like it. So it's just our job is to have to, unfortunately, communicate to this person. But if everyone knows this about autistic people, then we don't have to do this. We don't have to have this extra labor. But unfortunately, we have to do this extra labor.
I 100% agree with you. You've got it 100% right. It wasn't maladapted. Now you've witnessed live how I have pathologized. Do you see? You know the whole thing that they say that obviously neuropsychology is really important to me, and neuropsychology that's my field. The words and the things, the rhetoric, the narrative that you say to yourself is very important. You have just witnessed and you have checked. You've witnessed me pathologizing an element of me that is low key, just not as bad as it actually is. But now I've said that's about myself, and then that's it. Now I'll internalize that, and I'll be like, oh, it was maladaptive. I do maladaptive things, and that's how. But this is the plight of an autistic person when the world tells them that they're not.
Exactly.
They you've just seen a live manifestation of me having internalized the rhetoric that something's wrong with me. I've just said it straight up. I have to remind myself all the time. That whole thing of, you know, like how I need to. Do you know how much I tell myself, you know, if I was my friend, what would I say to me? I have to remind myself to speak to myself like a friend. I remind myself, because don't speak to me like Yannick, because I'll say I have said the worst things to me than anyone has ever said to me in my entire life. So I need to not talk to me. Basically, I need a timeout.
I have to learn how to talk to myself.
Talk to me in a more compassionate way, like a friend would.
Yes.
what gives me grace and gives me compassion, because it's tough out here. But yeah, no.
Good. I didn't realize this is such an important thing to do live, because I don't think people, if you're not neurodivergent, you don't realize how much you internalize about what's wrong or right in the world based on what everyone is doing. And you just feel like, oh, if I'm doing it different, I'm bad. I am not okay. And that eats at yourself. You constantly do that. So I'm glad we sort of like showed that whole process and like really stamped out to people like this is just a constant thing of learning and growing and weeding out. These are systems that we're trying to take.
Yeah, I'm 35 and it's still constant. Like I thought, as an adult, like as a full-fledged shit, recently I saw that being 35, it's middle age. I am a middle-aged man. Like recently I learned that I'm a middle-aged man. You can call me uncle. Like I'm all the way in there. I'm officially unk. So I think so yeah, being a middle-aged man, you would think that that's something you would have down pat, but nah, it's consistent. It's a constant state of growing and learning to just do better.
Lifelong journey. Yeah. Lifelong journey. Okay. I think we should cut it here. I think that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay.
I think
this is good. This is good, man.
Yeah, that was
yeah. If you've got snippets and stuff and you put it up on, I don't know where you're doing it, whether you're TikToking it or Instagram or YouTube or whatever.
Where do you think we should put it? Like
I don't even know. I don't even think. I think I'm not the most social media savvy, but I do know that TikTok is a good place. I do know that TikTok, and especially we've been talking for quite a while, so I think there are a lot of snippets that you could flood. Yeah. I do think that you can I do think that you could flood a lot of snippets. Instagram, if you know the name of your podcast discussions, if you make it page, or if you just put it up on your own, just be like, guys, I'm trying this out and here, and you just put it up on your Instagram, the interesting discussions you've had. And I think that could be a good thing. I think the thing with Microsoft Teams is that I don't know how this has been recorded, if it's just literally my face. But I like the idea of having two things. So it's back. Yeah, or on Instagram Live where it's like half up. I prefer the Teams thing like that. Even if you use this snippet where it's just like me talking or you, and then it switches between you, me, and you edit it that way, that could be cool. But then maybe for the future, let's think where it's like it's both of us right there. So then if I say something, your reaction can be picked up straight away. I think that's also a good one. But this is a pilot, right? So it's like who knows? Maybe at some point, if you come back to the UK, we'll do a live. We'll do live, and then we'll do something like that. So I think these are important discussions, and it's just that, and it's never enough to put them out there. There's always more of a need to. Plus, it's two black men talking about it, so it's not your typical
interesting. And also, I think we should definitely be like a straight podcast on YouTube, because I think people need a long form. Like, you want people to sit down and really understand these ideas. Obviously, you can use TikTok and Instagram as a funnel, get the snippets.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by the snippets. It has to be somewhere like full, as in like for long form, for people to be able to check it out.
Sure. So this is good. Okay, so we should do the next one. The workplace is gonna be the next topic next time. I don't know if you do it in like 2 weeks time, to give you time to recover.
Time to think about it. Yeah, for sure. Let's do it in 2 weeks. Let's do it in 2 weeks, and then we can think about that. Man, I have a lot to say about work.
Oh yeah.
Man, but that's, I don't know if it's a neurodivergent thing, but recently I've had instances of significant sexual harassment at work.
Really? Okay. But I guarantee you, that's a big black man thing. And it, because it also, the way because your neurodivergence is about the way you process that information. And I
Yeah,
think that's
you know
gonna be
what? That's
interesting
true.
to
That's true.
hear how you process it, because
That's
it's going to
true.
be different from someone else.
That is very true. That is very true. Let's do it that way. Yeah, I'm down. I'm 100% down.
Awesome. All right, I appreciate it so much, Yannick. I'm listen to this back and see how it goes. I'll send it to you.
For sure. Yeah, let me know that if you make any snippets, just send them my way. This would be really cool.
All right, cheers.
Okay, no problem.